Hey everyone, welcome to the episode 3 of my Miliastra Wonderland tutorial series. In this video, we are finally going to spawn enemies and our character will kill them. We will do so by using custom variables, signals, and timers. Let's start with creating an enemy prefab, which actually was your homework from the last video. If you were able to do it, well done to you. If not, that's okay because this is something I have never shown you before. First things first, we will switch to the Prefab Library tab and then click on the Creation Prefabs subcategory. Here, we will create a new tab and name it Mobs. Once that's done, under Basic module, we are going to click on Basic Creation, then select Elemental Lifeforms, and finally click on Pyro Slime. Now we will switch to the Component tab of the Spiral Slime and click on Advanced Editing under Custom Variable tab. We are going to create a string type variable named small slime. I tend to make each initial of a word uppercase. In programming, this naming convention is called the Pascal case, which has been stuck with me for a very long time due to my Unreal Engine background. However, you may choose to name your variables whichever way you want to, but as usual, be consistent and don't forget how you named them. The value of this variable will be the same, but all in lowercase. You can then click on save and name it small pyro slime. We are now going to move on to the node graphs. Bring the Miliastra sandbox window up and find the node graph we created in the previous episode. Here we will add a send signal node after the change player class node. In the text box under signal name, we will type change player class level 5. Once that's done, we are going to open the server signal explorer window by clicking on the signal icon. Here we will add a new signal named change player class level 5. Make sure it's perfectly the same as the one in the send signal node, or else it won't work. We can close this window after clicking on Apply Changes. Now, we will go back to the Server Node Graph Explorer and add a new node graph and then rename it to Stage Entity Kill Counter. Double click on this node graph and open it up. Right click on an empty space and type Monitor Signal. The signal name, you guessed it, will be Change Player Class Level 5. From the execution pin of this node, we will drag and attach the start timer node. Event source entity output pin will go into the target entity input pin. Timer name will be change player class level 5 and this timer will not loop, so select no for this. From the timer sequence, we will drag and attach the assembly list node here. We want the timer to start a quarter of a second after the signal is received, so we will type 0.25. After you're done, right-click on an empty space and then type when timer is triggered. From the timer name output pin, drag and attach the equal node. Into the text box, we will type our timer name, which is change player class level 5. From the result output pin, we will drag and type double branch. We will then connect the when timer is triggered node into the double branch node as well. This logic will make sure that we only spawn the enemy if the timer named change player class level 5 is triggered, or else it would go off whenever any timer is triggered, which we will have a couple of them in this series. From the execution pin, we will drag and attach the create prefab node. With this node, we will spawn our enemy. But we have a small problem. Our enemy isn't present in our stage, so we don't know its location. How are we going to determine that? Do we just enter some random numbers and hope that it works? Absolutely no. We will create a new empty prefab that doesn't have any visual representation, which will act like a spawn point for us to spawn our enemies on. Let's go back to the level editor and do that. Here we will switch back to the object prefabs and add a new tab called Locations. Under Dynamic Units, we will click on Other and select the empty model. Under Native Collision, we will also uncheck Initially Effective. You can then save and name it Enemy Spawn Location. and change its category to locations. We are now going to go back to the Entity Placement tab and place this prefab in our stage where we want the Pyro Slime to be spawned. I leave the placement of this prefab to your liking. Once we are done placing that prefab, we are going to go back to the node graph, right-click on an empty space somewhere under double branch and type query entity by GUID. Drag from the entity output pin and type get entity location and rotation. Location will go into the location and rotation will go into the rotation. We are only missing the GUID part. Luckily, every entity we place in our stage has a GUID. We will go back to the entity placement and click on our enemy spawn location entity. On top right, you will see its GUID. Copy it and paste it into the GUID text box in the node graph. We will now go back and copy the prefab ID of our small pyro slime and paste it into the prefab ID text box. We don't want to overwrite the level of the enemy, so we will select no for this. We will also leave the level as it is, which is 1. Once we created our prefab, we will attach the set entity faction node and type 3 into the faction text box. Now, you might be thinking that why 3 and not 50 or 2 or well 10? Can you type any number and would it work? Well, no. Let me show you how I know what number is which faction. We are going to go back to the level editor and open up the menu on the top left. Click on stage settings and then select faction. As you can see, at the moment we have 3 factions by default. First one being the player or friendly units. Second one is for objects such as our prefabs, trees, flowers, etc. And the third one is for hostile, non-friendly units and its ID is 3. So we just set the small pyro slimes faction as the third one, which is for enemies. With that out of the way, we can go back to our node graph and do a final touch, which is destroying the class changer prefab once we're done using it. Since we will have no use for it after spawning an enemy, I prefer to destroy it. So, let's attach the destroy entity to set entity faction node. Once that's done, you are ready for your first and only challenge for this video. I want you to copy the GUID of our class changer prefab and destroy it by using the query entity by GUID node. Pause the video and have a go at it. Alright, welcome back. I hope you are able to overcome this challenge once again. Now, let me go and copy the GUID of our class changer prefab and then destroy it by using the query entity by GUID node. And that's it. You can now save this node graph and we will go and attach it to our stage entity. Go back to the entity placement tab and find the blue square looking object in your stage. If you can see it, make sure to zoom out a little bit and it should be visible even if it's underneath your stage. Click on it and then go to the node graphs tab and finally attach our kill counter node graph to it. Let's now playtest our stage and see if our enemy is being spawned successfully. And it is working as expected. Also, as you can guess from our node graph's name, we will be counting and displaying how many enemies our character has killed, which we will do so in the next video. As your homework, I want you to try and create a new boss enemy. Make sure to create a new category called bosses for it, and you can choose any enemy type you want. Spoiler alert, I will be using the Ruin Guard enemy as my boss. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next episode.